Let's go. So the ratings and rankings of the universities in 2023 have been updated already, and some of these rankings have been incorporating the findings from the 2023 National Student Satisfaction Survey as well. So for a lot of students who are thinking about coming to the UK to study, the university rankings is often the first place that you will go to for information about universities, or perhaps you even have recommendations from your family members or your friends who tell you about how good a university is and you want to do your own research. University ranking systems and league tables like the QS and the THE have been used by countless of students to make rather important decisions. But are they flawless? The answer might surprise you. So stay with me and I'll show you how these league tables and university ranking systems are constructed, and also explore why they're problematic and how they're going to impact the information or the conclusions that you draw about a certain university. I will also show you how to better make use of the information on the rankings so that you can make the best decision with the information that you can obtain from the internet about which university you want to go to. Essentially, these ranking systems are made out of a variety of criteria with different weightages. So for example, the Times Higher Education University ranking system uses this particular model. So as you can see, teaching makes up 29.5% of the ranking consideration, and there is a heavy weightage on teaching and research reputation and citation impact, which, according to the Times Higher Education, is the average number of times a university's publication is cited by scholars globally. Other ranking systems have different weightages, and they also have different sets of criteria, which then results in a different set of ranking. So for example, this is how the weightages and the criteria can differ across some of the more popular ranking systems that students typically use. As you can see, ranking systems are not built the same, and that's why there's so much variability. Now, what does this all mean for a student who is looking for a university to apply to, regardless if you're an undergraduate student or a postgraduate student? Firstly, you are quite likely to be interested in different criteria. So for example, if you're a student who is looking for a master's taught program, you would be interested in something like teaching quality, for example. And if you are someone who's looking for a PhD, you might be more interested in research quality. A university's overall rank is going to mean very little to you because it is going to incorporate a whole variety of metrics that are not going to be relevant to you making your decision. Some university rankings are a little bit more helpful in the sense that they allow you to rank universities according to individual criteria, or even filter out subjects, which then gives you more pertinent information for you to make your decision. Now, what you need to take note of is that these individual criteria can make up of a variety of different metrics as well. To use this information wisely, you need to look into each of these criteria and see what metrics these criteria are made up of. However, there are some metrics that are particularly useful for students that are not incorporated into the ranking system tables. For example, equality and diversity, the facilities that are available at the student union, or employability outside the UK. Now, secondly, the methodologies of these ranking systems are widely disputed by academics. So, for example, Jelena Brankovic explained how a university can jump 120 ranks in just the span of 2 years, just because one researcher at the university was part of a global study that involved hundreds of researchers globally who co-publish a widely cited paper. Fauzi et al. Published a paper in 2020 that pointed out a number of statistical flaws in the way the rankings are constructed. More specifically, the QS was critiqued to rely heavily on surveys that can change from year to year, and the academic ranking of World University was critiqued for not considering teaching or employability and only focusing on research. I'll link the paper in the description below for you to read more about this. If you find the information useful for you thus far, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss another thought-provoking discussion on higher education. Now, lastly, rankings can be manipulated. In 2018, the former dean of Temple University submitted false data to the US News and World Report for ranking purposes to deceive applicants and donors. Last year, a Columbia University math professor pointed out some inconsistent numbers that were reported for ranking purposes and indicated where the data that was presented can actually be quite misleading and potentially contributing to an artificially high ranking of Columbia University, a rather renowned university in the US. In Ireland, Trinity College Dublin was accused of influencing the survey used to decide rankings at the QS and Times Higher Education when an email went out to academics to raise awareness about the surveys. As students who are looking for universities for our undergrad or a postgrad, we can be quite easily swayed by rankings because we're trying to research universities that we have never heard of. And the whole point of these rankings is basically to tell you which university is the top or the best university. Now, universities know that students rely on rankings and they love to tell you that their school is the top 100 or the top 50 or the top 10 and use very sexy headlines that will draw your attention, which can be quite misleading because they're not exactly telling you very explicitly what they're top for. You can quite easily find 30 universities claiming to be one of the top 10 universities in the UK, and some universities do get into trouble for their marketing material because of these unverifiable claims. The troubling issue is also that the metrics can be quite difficult to decipher as an applicant, and it's not easy to navigate the mess of data even if you wanted to look into each metric that the ranking table uses. Take university rankings with a pinch of salt and do not make your decisions solely based on the university rankings on the league tables alone. Have a look at student satisfaction surveys that are conducted, look at teaching and research excellence frameworks, which all have their issues as well. Speak to students on university forums, read up the areas of research that the university is active in, look into facilities offered by the university, check out video tours of the universities, vlogs by YouTubers at the university. Ensure that you are looking at information from a variety of sources before you make your decision. You also need to remember that rankings are just rankings and you are looking for a university specifically for yourself. So consider the things that you value as well when looking for a university. Is it sustainability? Is it friends and contacts? Is it future career prospects? Look in the description below for a link to a decision table which can help you structure your thoughts around the universities that you have shortlisted. So drop a comment below and tell me what you think about rankings. Do you use them? Do you not use them? And how do you use them if you do? And I will see you in another video. Bye.